Hello guys, good day everyone. Welcome to my channel. Yes, I'm happy that you're here. I understand that you are looking for a research regarding the evolution of the Philippine Constitution, and I understand that this is one of the readings, one of the requirements in your readings in Philippine history. So, you have reached the right video, and I am hoping that I would be able to explain this and help you better understand this topic very well. So, without further ado, let's start and let's begin the evolution of the Philippine Constitution. But before that, it's important that we understand the meaning of the Constitution. So, it actually refers to a set of rules that guides how a country, a state, or other political organization works. Okay, so it's like a rule book. All right, so when you have a rule book, it pretty much contains a lot of things. So it's got the branches of the government, the powers of the government, our rights. Yes, okay, the rights of the people is there, as well as the responsibilities. Exactly whose responsibility? Ito yung responsibility ng state. All right? So, the Constitution is considered as the supreme law of the land. Okay? You remember that? Supreme law of the land. So, kumbaga, ito yung pinaka-Biblia ng isang pagiging Pilipino. Okay? So, no one, not even the president, can go against the Constitution. Okay? Now, the latest constitution was ratified on February 2, 1987. Oh yeah, medyo matanda na siya, no? So, and that is why every February 2nd of every year, no? That's our Constitution Day. Okay, so baka kasama yan sa exam ninyo. Alright? At baka matanong ng mga professors ninyo, no? So, when is the Constitution Day? That's every February 2nd. So, why is a constitution important? Okay, yes, it is the supreme law of the land, and so what? So it helps maintain law and order. Okay, so imagine mo na lang sa isang bansa, no na wala kang kaparusahan sa mga gagawin mong bagay. So you are free to do anything. You are free to kill anyone. You are free to damage properties. No, alam mo kasi hindi ka makukulong, no? So that's why the Constitution protects our rights, and it helps maintain law and order. It also imposes rules and regulations, especially sa ating mga government officials, mga public leaders. Okay? It tells them what exactly to do and what not to do. Okay? So, nasa Constitution din natin yan, no? Yung tinatawag natin na SALN ng mga government officials. So, yung statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth. So, it should be accessible, readily accessible sa public. Okay? Our Constitution also protect individual rights and freedom. Okay, so yung mga na-enjoy nating freedom ngayon, yung freedom of expression, freedom of speech, right to travel, okay, right to education, right to vote. Yan, nakapaloob yan sa ating constitution at yan ay inaalagaan ng ating constitution. And then finally, it also limits the power of the government. Siyempre may hangganan. May hangganan ang kapangyarihan ng estado o ng gobyerno natin. It's not absolute. Alright, ayan. So I made a timeline here, no? The evolution of the Philippine Constitution. So since the beginning, we've had how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 constitutions. Okay, from 1897 to 1987. But if you would look at it, may naka-blue bold letters, no? So, tatlo sila. Ano yung tatlo na yan? Yung tatlo na yan, the 1935 Commonwealth Constitution, the 1973 Marcos Administration Constitution, and then present 1987 Constitution. Ito yung tatlo na talagang effectively na-implement. Okay, so out of the 7, only 3 have been effectively implemented. So we're going to discuss these constitutions individually, okay? And let's try to dissect why exactly the other constitutions did not work out. All right, are you ready? Yan. Okay. So the 1897 Constitution ng BIAK-NA-BATO. So ang maganda lang na malaman dito it's that it was the provisionary constitution of the Philippines during the Philippine Revolution. So pag sinabi natin provisionary, temporary lang 'yan. Okay? Kasi nga 'di ba, may revolution and atat na ang mga katipunero na mag-declare ng ating independence. And with that kind of independence, naisip na gumawa ng isang constitution. Okay? At eto na nga yun, ang konstitusyon ng BIAK-NA-BATO. So nakikita nyo dyan sa screen yung mga salient features ng constitution na to. So pag sinabi nating salient features, ay yung mga notable characteristics and features. Okay? Now, this was never fully implemented, okay, since a truce. Okay, so how do you understand the word truce? Pag sinabi nating truce, kasunduan yan, no? No, awat na, awat na, tama na. Kasi 'di ba nagkaroon tayo ng revolution noon. So, yan yung truce. The Pact of BIAK-NA-BATO, it was signed between the Spanish and the Philippine Revolutionary Army. Ayan. So, mag-transition tayo sa MALOLOS Constitution. So, how did this came about? So, ayan. So, meron tayo ditong figures, no? Thanks, courtesy ng Civil Service Commission. So, we understand na we were under the Spanish reign for 333 years. And then, ang ating mga katipunero ay nagrevolusyon. Nagkaroon ng kasunduan ng BIAK-NA-BATO para awat na, tama na ang digmaan. Nagkaroon tayo ng Filipino-Spanish truce. At sa kasunduan na yan, okay, ay nakapaloob sa kasunduan na yan na kailangang isuko nila Aguinaldo ang mga armas sa mga Spanish government officials kapalit ng kanyang paglisan o paglabas ng bansa papuntang Hong Kong. At ganun din ay babayaran si Aguinaldo. So ayun, sumunod sila. Kaya fly lalo na si Aguinaldo going to Hong Kong. Pero yun, naghintay siya doon. Apparently, wala siyang natanggap na pera from the Spanish government. So, it was probably a setup. So, it did not materialize. And at the same time, hindi din naisuko ang mga armas ng mga Pilipino noon. So, bumalik si Aguinaldo back to the Philippines, and then the declaration of the Philippine independence happened, only to find out that there was a secret agreement between the US and Spain. So, do you know what this agreement was? Yon, it's the Treaty of Paris, okay, wherein the Philippines was sold to the United States for how much? Yes, $20 million. Okay? But even before that, nung pagdating pa lang ni Aguinaldo, along with the Declaration of Philippine Independence, nagpatawag na kaagad siya ng mga educated leaders, okay? Mga intellectuals. And they drafted the MALOLOS Constitution. Okay? Which establishes the first Philippine Republic. Okay. Diba? However, ayan, di pa pala. Ito yung mga salient features ng 1899 Constitution. So, it establishes a popular representative government. Meron tayong unicameral legislation. At dito na rin napasimula ang separation of church and state. Nandito din nakapalabang Bill of Rights. And it also encourages compulsory and free basic education. Okay. However, just like the BIAK-NA-BATO Constitution, this Constitution was not fully implemented kasi nag-erupt, nagkaroon ng Philippine-US War. Okay? So, nagalit ang mga Pilipino. Niloko nyo kami. Okay? So, the Philippine-US War erupted. Okay, so the Americans colonized the Philippines. We all know that. And then it came the Commonwealth government, which also brought about the 1935 Commonwealth Constitution. Okay, now what about this constitution? So what are the features of this 1935 constitution? So we have the bicameral legislation. Okay? So yung kanina, unicameral, ito naman ay bicameral. So pag sinabi natin bicameral, no, from the prefix bi, we have the upper house and the lower house. Okay? Remember that. So we are referring to the two houses. Ano yung two houses na yan? We have the Senate and the House of Representatives. Okay? And then dito na rin sa constitution na yan, ang term ng isang president and vice president. So a 4-year term for the president and the vice president. Okay? Well, actually parang ito ay with re-election ito. Okay? So just take note that this was a 4-year term for the president and vice president with re-election. And then finally, this constitution also protects our right to vote. Yes, the right to suffrage. So it was afforded initially to male citizens aged 21 and above, and then years after it was extended sa mga kababaihan. But then the Japanese occupation happened, so the implementation of the 1935 Commonwealth Constitution had it was abruptly it stopped. Okay, so the Japanese came, the World War II broke out, and the Japanese invaded the Philippines. And so with it came also the Japanese-sponsored Constitution, the 1943 Constitution. And there were two salient features ng Constitution na to, no? Ito yung strong executive powers, no? Napakatindi. So kung sino man ang leader, ang namumuno ng ating government noon, so he was accorded a strong executive power. Okay? And then unicameral. So back to unicameral National Assembly tayo. But now for this kind of National Assembly, ang member lang dapat nito is you have to be an anti-US. Okay, galit. Yes, exactly. Galit dapat sa Amerika. However, this constitution was short-lived. Okay, ayan na nga, yung familiar na tayo niya, no? Because Americans came back and gave us our independence. Yan, I shall return, ika nga. Alright? And then we went back, okay? Upon liberation from the Japanese forces, many succeeding governments reverted back to the 1935 Constitution until Marcos came into picture. Okay? So, bumalik tayo sa paggamit ng 1935 Constitution. So, Marcos was elected president in 1965. Okay? And then, in 4 years, syempre, matatapos ang kanyang termino. And he was re-elected president in 1969. So, kung 1969 siya ma-re-elect, kailan mag-expire ang kanyang termino? Yes, 1973, 4 years. Allowed pa ba siya na ma-re-elect? Hindi na. Okay, so that is why naisip niya, my God, mag-expire na ang termino ko ng 1973, so I have to do something. So he began to call for a CONCON. Okay, a CONCON is a constitutional convention, okay, which we will discuss sa separate video. It's may mga delegates dito, okay, and they are the ones who will draft and propose revisions sa constitution. So they began to meet in 1971. The year after, Marcos declared martial law in 1972, which allowed the CONCON to have more time to draft a new constitution. Ayun na nga. A year after, the 1973 Constitution was ratified. So what exactly are the salient features of this constitution? So it shifted us, no, to a parliamentary form of government with a prime minister and a president. Okay? And legislative powers was vested in a unicameral National Assembly elected by people. Okay? So kung medyo familiar kayo sa batasang pambansa, so that was the National Parliament or the National Assembly. Okay? Batasang pambansa sa Quezon City. And also, this constitution legalized all decrees, proclamations, and orders of the president. Wow. No, just wow. Kung ano yung gusto, kung anong order ng president, it will be legal. Right. Now, so let's transition to the 1986 Constitution. So, we all know what happened to Ninoy Aquino, right? And then, just so you know, no, Ninoy Aquino was a strong opposition leader. And then when he was killed, mas lalo pang nagalit ang talagang opposition. And then, so Marcos called for a snap election. So when we talk about snap election, so mabilis ang election. Okay, so instead of the scheduled election, let's say for example 2022, we will move the constitution. We will move the election 1 year ahead. So 2021. So that's the concept of snap election. So Marcos declared himself a winner sa election na to. And many people did not like it, no? There was actually even a coup d'etat na nangyari, but it was not successful. And then we all know that People Power 1 happened and Cory Aquino became the president. And then during her administration, she immediately called on for the drafting of the 1986 Constitution. Now, just remember that this 1986 Constitution was also known as the 1986 Freedom Constitution. Okay? Now, this was a verbatim copy of the previous Constitution, the 1973. No, pag sinabi nating verbatim, word for word. Okay? Pero wala na dyan yung provisions ng batasang pambansa. Okay? Which is the parliament. Now, Aquino vested in herself both executive and legislative powers, knowing that the economy, the country was on the path of recovery. And then this constitution, however, was just transitional, meaning to say that they needed to draft a stronger, a better constitution. So it was just a transitional constitution that only lasted for a year. And that is why the year after, we are down to the 1987 Constitution, which is the present Constitution that we have right now. Okay? So that was a long journey, no? From 1897. So remember that our present Constitution revolves around 4 themes: upholding of national sovereignty, promotion of social justice, democratic governance and prevention of another dictatorship, and the respect for human rights and civil liberties. So, upholding of national sovereignty. Bigat, no? Bigat na word. Okay, so just remember, no? Ang lahat ng nasasakupan ng Pilipinas, from Mapari hanggang Hulo, as well as our national and international waters, yan ay pag-aari at nasasakupan, may jurisdiction ng Pilipinas, at yan ay nasasakupan ng ating constitution. So lahat ng mga tao dyan, lahat ng ating national interests, lahat ng resources, no, our constitution should uphold and protect it. Okay? So, ayan, katulad ng ating tinatawag ng West Philippine Sea, that's part of our territory. And nasa constitution natin to uphold national sovereignty. That's part of it. How about this democratic governance and the prevention of another dictatorship? Okay, so we all know naman, diba, that we have a very democratic way of electing our people. Pero paano yung prevention of another dictatorship? Yes, you got it right. So, ibig sabihin, diba, term limited na lang ang ating presidente. So, he's only allowed to be in the office for 6 years with no re-election. Okay? So, just like the current president that we have, President Duterte, he's only allowed to be in the office until 2022. Okay? Until then, and then after that, so, we'll be electing a new president. Okay. So, this constitution also, ayan, highlights that we have three branches of the government. Okay? So, we have the executive, the judiciary, tsaka legislative. Okay? Now, let me just clearly give you an example and a summary of these branches. So, pag sinabi natin legislative branch, no, from the word legislate, so these are the ones who legislate our laws. They are the ones who craft and make our laws, mga batas. So, you have an idea who this is? Yan, ang ating mga mambabatas, ang ating mga senators, ang ating mga congressmen. So, eto yung bicameral na tinatawag natin, the upper house and then the lower house. Okay, and then we have the executive branch. Okay, so from the word execute. Okay, so ito yung mga nag-execute ng batas, and the power is vested in the president. Okay, and all the cabinet departments under him. Ano yung mga cabinet departments na yan, sir? So ito yung mga Department of Science and Technology, Department of Education, Department of Finance, Department of Justice, and so on and so forth. Okay? So, diba, kapag nagkakaroon ng cabinet meeting ang presidente, yan, magkakasama ang mga cabinet secretaries. Again, cabinet secretaries lang dapat ang nandyan. Okay? Wala dapat senador, wala dapat congressman. And then finally, the judiciary branch. So, obviously, no, ang power niyan ay nakavested saan? Sa Supreme Court. Okay? So, kung ang legislative, they make laws, ang executive, they execute laws, the judiciary naman, they interpret laws. Okay? All right. So, I hope that somehow give you a quick, no, understanding and overview of the evolution of the Philippine Constitution. I'm just really happy that you came to my channel, and I hope you learned a thing or two. Okay? So wherever you are, just keep safe. God bless, and see you soon in the rest of my videos. Okay, bye-bye!